Kyle here with Factum Financial, and in this video, I'm going to be going deep into the 4 stages of whole life insurance ownership and kind of the thought process of where do people start buying this asset? Where's their understanding? How do you progress from what we call the stage 1 saver to the wealth builder to the business banker and ultimately becoming your own banker and implementing infinite banking at the highest level? And so the infinite banking concept is very different than someone's buying whole life insurance and using the loan provision, which unfortunately that's kind of what the concept gets reduced to online from a lot of the marketing companies. And so if you're searching around, you're watching videos on people that are implementing infinite banking and all they can tell you is they're using a policy loan and they own whole life insurance, that is definitely not what the infinite banking concept is about. So hopefully by the end of this video, you're better educated on not only what does it take to go to the highest level of infinite banking, but also what is that costing your family to not progress through the 4 stages of whole life insurance ownership. So let's dive right in. So we've got the saver stage. This is where almost everyone starts. It's applicable to 100% of Americans. And why is that? Because I believe 100% of Americans need more financial education, they need better awareness of their money, and they need a much stronger saving strategy. And those 3 elements kind of build the core concepts and the foundation of what you'll need to implement the infinite banking concept at the very highest level. And usually at this stage, here's what's going on inside someone's head. They're looking at the benefits of whole life insurance, those 8 benefits we always talk about, and they understand this is nothing more than an alternative place to store some of my wealth. I'm definitely going to improve the efficiency and the benefits of my cash reserves. I need to fund an emergency stage anyways and build some liquidity. And I also absolutely need life insurance protection for my family or my business. And so we're really only thinking of buying whole life insurance as a saver. And so typically what's happening here, this is a little graph from a max potential calculator we use with Truth Concepts, a software I would recommend every life insurance agent be using. And typically in this stage, you might see someone putting 5% of their income into whole life insurance. Now, as you know, whole life insurance and the concept of becoming your own banker or infinite banking is not an investment strategy, it's a control conversation. So what we're seeing here is this part in green. If you just change where you save money, you're going to start to see some growth on those dollars. It's not going to be very substantial, but it'll definitely beat the typical environments most Americans save. And then everything in red is all the other money that's flowing through our life that we could have captured and harnessed if we understood this world of banking more. So let's shift gears a little bit. Now let's go to the wealth builder. And I would say this is probably where most people, they get to in their first year, second year, third year, somewhere in that time frame. And unfortunately, this is where a lot of education and strategy stops. There's a lot of places out there that can help you become the wealth builder and just use whole life insurance as a wealth building tool. This is absolutely not infinite banking, okay? So just because you have whole life insurance and you're going to use it as part of your debt strategy or your investment strategy does not mean you're doing infinite banking. So typically in this stage, we're seeing a higher intention around getting tougher money management habits. So you've probably been on our Tough Money workbook. You're starting to redirect cash flow either by paying off high interest debt or getting some of the cash flow from your investments now directed back into your whole life insurance policy. And you're starting to just get more intentional around building this balance sheet ratio between like how much liquidity and how tough is my foundation and how much do I have at the top part of the pyramid, which is the investing, okay? And you're starting to get more intentional between this conversation of protection and acceleration. And this is a wonderful stage to be in, by the way. So typically, this is how it pans out. You're probably going to do at least twice as good as the saver because now you're actually, there's a difference between owning whole life insurance and using whole life insurance. A lot of people have life insurance, but they don't know how to use their life insurance, especially not as a wealth building tool. And you can see here the green bars on this are substantially higher than the first model, which is the saver stage. And there's just more intention and control around this conversation. Now, when we go to the business banker, stage 3, this is where you're going to see one of the largest leaps in how much money you can control with this concept. But it's also going to take one of the heaviest lifts. The greatest part about that, though, is that you don't have to do this stage alone. So at this stage, you have very tough money management habits. You've got a wonderful wealth team assembled at this time, which means you're going to need professionals in all of these key components of wealth building. So you're going to need a great estate planning team, tax strategist, bookkeeper. You probably have some investment advisors. You definitely have your life insurance team at Factum here supporting you. So you've got your home and auto insurance partnerships in place. And once you have that team, now what you're able to do is you're able to accelerate and go so much further, so much faster with less risk, because now you're actually becoming and running your wealth more like a business than you are a solo entrepreneur, if you will. And you're also probably now owning significant amounts of whole life insurance. You've probably got those integrated into everything we see here in red. And so at this stage, what's going on in a mindset of the business banker? You now know the compounding effect of whole life insurance. You're trying to redirect really all free cash flows into your whole life system of policies. You're looking to expand that system aggressively too. And you've got these policies integrated into all the key components. So not only do you have policies on yourself, you probably have them on your key business partners at this time. You might have some deferred compensation policies. You're using these policies as a major part of your wealth and control conversation. And here's what it kind of looks like just from a financial point of view. At this point, the amount of wealth you're controlling, the dollars that are flowing through your life, you're controlling and harnessing so much more of them, because the intention around running your money like a business now is intact, as opposed to thinking of it like a part-time hobby, which is kind of what the wealth builder is doing. Now, that's not right or wrong. Both of those are wonderful stages, but I'm just telling you, it requires a much heavier lift and a team to get to this point. And once you got to this point, the business banker, it's fairly easy now to roll everything up into that infinite banking category if you feel like that's the right thing for you to do. So when you decide, I want to be the infinite banker, I want as much control around the banking function in my life, which means you're now going to incorporate a family banking business. So all the vehicles, the mortgages, all the business startup, future investments, all of those things will be financed by your own family at this point. You definitely have multi-generational legacy assured. You've got policies probably on your parents or generation 1, generation 2. You've got them on your kids. Maybe you even have them on grandkids now. So wealth preservation is definitely intact, because you also have your wealth team, and they're going to help you not only grow this wealth, but perpetuate it with the right vision, values. And at this stage, you're moving into a conversation that's going to involve much more influence and significance. So now we're going into how much more can we impact the next generations around this conversation of banking. We want to restore that power back to the you and me level. It's existed with the hands of the big bankers for far too long. So we're restoring some of that power back to the people, to the family unit, with an emphasis on vision and values. And there is a very spiritual part of the infinite banking concept that rarely gets discussed. And I'd encourage everyone to attend at least one IBC annual think tank. They're usually in February. You can look it up online, you'll find it. But you'll get to see a part of the mission, the vision, and the values that, like I said, this concept a lot of times gets reduced to just, I have whole life and I use the loan provision to buy real estate. And that's definitely not what infinite banking is about. Infinite banking is about becoming the highest and best version of yourself, and then control and flow of money and the vision and values is now being transferred to the next generation, generation after generation. And that's where you're going to get this really compelling idea of, like, what does it mean to actually be doing infinite banking? Now, to wrap this up, let's look at all of these side by side. When we look at the max potential version of the infinite banker, it's nothing more than just a more aggressive conversation around control, but you're going to have a lot more of your vision and values built into that. And so what is it costing you to stay in a stage 1 versus stage 2 versus going to the stage 3 and stage 4? For most families, it is a multi-million dollar lost interest cost to stay in the current stage of whole life insurance ownership that you have. And it's why having the right team, that's why it's going to be so vital for you to find the right team that has the long-term vision, the systems and processes, the training and coaching, and the community that allows you to be successful with this, no matter where you're starting on this journey. You know, compounding does not care when you start. It rewards those who never stop. And it helps to have the right team that's going to help you implement exactly what you need to do in each one of those stages, so you never feel like you're spinning your wheels. You're in a constant state of progression. And if you can do that well enough, now you're in a position to go implement the infinite banking concept at the highest level.